I'm gonna regret this.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a Geni to step two, step two, step two, step two, step two.
Welcome to the capsule, everyone. We are live and rolling, and we have Jenny Lou on the podcast today.
Woo!
If you're new here, this is Jenny Lou. She's been on the podcast a few times, usually causing absolute havoc with Abe. Am I lying?
Yes. You're all the...
Why are you holding it to the side of your mouth?
You said hold it to the front. I'm holding it to the front.
Are you like talking like this?
Yeah, because I don't want to hide my beautiful face. People need to see. Also, I'm only here because a lot of people have written in and asked for me to come back. So this is why I'm here.
Who wrote in and said that?
Well, you tell me. You're the one who's like, a bunch of people sent emails. They were like, how come Jenny hasn't been on in ages? We want Jenny back. We want Jenny back.
For the record, no one wrote in and said that.
There's nothing to prove it.
There's nothing to not prove it.
Go on with your outline.
With my outline?
I don't know, my boob.
What? What's an outline?
I don't know, outline for the show.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to the capsule. Hope you've all been well. So there's only a few things. Well, there's more than a few things to talk about this week. But Jen has to go because she's got to go and wrestle some guys.
Yep.
She does jiu-jitsu.
I choke some guys in my spare time, just for fun. That's what I do.
Yeah. Or do you get absolutely destroyed at jiu-jitsu every week?
No one's there to say what happened.
Okay. Besides me?
You're not there.
Okay. I definitely don't do jiu-jitsu. So we were at Litefest.
We were.
How did you find it? First time? No, not first time hosting.
Yeah, first time hosting Litefest.
Yeah, but first time hosting ever? No, you did the Nike battle.
I did the aim battle.
The aim battle, true.
I feel like I did something else at some point. Maybe not.
Was the aim one the first one you ever did? Or the Nike one was the first one you ever did?
Yeah, I think Nike was before the aim one.
Yeah, it was, because the aim one was like this year. How do you find the experience of hosting?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. You know, actually, I was thinking at Litefest this weekend, I was like, I much prefer hosting than judging.
Yeah.
Like, by far.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's much better. It's much more
I think
fun.
it's like, especially if you're confident with your voice and stuff, it's like not even a thing. Whereas like, I feel like some people who know dance really well but don't like talking would probably hate hosting. But if you're confident with both, like hosting is way less work and stress and it's actually fun.
Yeah, and also it's like less focusing and less like, also I feel like when I've judged, I've been like not stressed, but like, oh my God, okay, like, you know, if a round is really tight, then I feel pressure if I'm making a wrong decision, or is my criteria, like, does it make sense? Am I being consistent with how I've judged before? Is it like, you know, it's a lot of thinking that...
As a host, you just have to go, yeah!
Yeah, as a host, you just have to try to make people laugh, which is basically like...
Well, you don't have to do that. That's something you've decided you have to do.
Which is basically like what I love to do in life in general. I live for a little punchline.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I did really enjoy it, and
but you've never done that's why you had Lukarich, because you haven't done the light feet before, and they've got all sorts of like stuff you have to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I spoke to Kieran and he asked me to do it, he said, well, I think
was the audition that you had to say, Kieran, get Kieran?
Yeah.
And then he was like, cool, you're in.
For half an hour straight.
Yeah, okay.
In a voice note.
He's like, oh, cool, we've reviewed your application.
Yeah, you have to say, like, you have to read a whole phone book with like Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. And then when you get to the end, they give you the job?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, but basically, I think part of it was because there were some points that different things were going to happen in two different rooms. So I think that they needed two people anyways, but also, you know, I mean, I wouldn't feel confident hosting Light Feet knowing that, you know, the role of it's a little bit like Vogue or like Crump, where the role of the host is not necessarily just to be the transition between when people dance, but also to be more involved in that. And like, yeah, I would trip myself if I had to do it for light feet. Like I don't really even watch light feet like that, so I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Thoughts on the overall event? Because there was, so for people that don't know, obviously Litefest was this weekend at Swindon Dance. There was the Litefest categories, which was teams, Light Feet 2-on-2, Light Feet 1-on-1, Light Feet Kids. And then they also had an all-stars battle on Light Feet Music. And then you had the Kingdoms League categories, which was hip hop and popping. So got through a lot in 2 days.
Yeah, it was quite busy. And yeah, I think it was really nice. I think also because there were train strikes this weekend, I think that not as many people came down from London or from other places.
And it was still pretty packed.
Yeah, it was pretty packed and it was very hot. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I think like in terms of popping and hip hop, it was kind of your usual suspects.
Yeah, I think the Kingdoms League, it kind of encourages consistency in that way.
Yeah.
So it's like people that do the Kingdoms League will continue to do it, I think.
Yeah. I think also maybe a part of it that's nice, it's like it's maybe nice, but you know, because of all the work that Kieran does with Light Feet, and especially with like not younger kids, but with, you know, youth groups, there were a lot more kids that were there than your usual Kingdoms League event. And you know, if they're there for Light Feet, even if they're not necessarily, you know, if they're there for Light Feet and there's hip hop and popping, well, they're probably going to enter it, you know, just why not? And so it was actually really nice to see some of the kids, some of them I hadn't seen before, and I was like, oh, you're actually quite good.
That Pocket Rocket girl?
Yeah, Pocket Rocket, it was, I mean, I can't help but to think, like, I know I don't want to be condescending, but I'm like, they're so cute too.
Yeah. Well, they are super, they're like 10 or 9 or something.
She looks like 4.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, but there was
like Eliana, who won the kids, like Kids Sway, Lucia's student, like a lot of them are like sexually sick.
There was also like I think one of the kids that's part of the Swindon Dance Cat program.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah. She did well in the Light Feet.
Yeah, she did well in the Light Feet, and
she's actually sick. Like even as a student, when I've taught her,
she's
like really like on it, pays attention. Like she's helping me remember the routine. Yeah. She's like, oh, it was this, not this, and I'm like, yes, I knew that. Yeah,
and you know what I appreciate them, or not the most about kids, but it's like when they're doing something, a lot of them, when they're committed, they're so committed to like, you know, and sometimes some kids can be over the top and like forcing a facial expression just for like performance sake, but you can see some of them are actually like they're pretending there's a ball, and then they're really like so
like in the character.
Yeah, so committed to the character where they do it. And I think it's like because they're kids, it's like a game, so the playing with it and the kind of fully going for it is actually a lot more fearless than how adults like tackle these things.
And I think also like I get even more impressed when they get to between like 12 and 17, 18 or so, because that's the prime time to like for people to like make fun of you for dancing or something like that,
right?
Like in school and so, you know what I mean, like even like, you know, watching Slayer kind of get good and great, and he does like I guess ballroom, not like Vogue, but as in partner dance stuff, like ballroom. I think he does that type, whatever he does,
because he was the world champion
of something that we couldn't figure out.
But
like even with him, it's like to do like hip hop, I kind of get you could like do a wave and people are like, oh, actually no, that's pretty cool. But like even doing those types of dances, which are like less traditionally like cool, I guess,
right?
Like it actually takes a lot, because it's only cool once you become good at it. Because when I remember like being in school, and it's like if somebody does something like that, you're like, what? And then someone goes, oh, but they're the world champion, you're like, oh, actually that's pretty cool. Like, so it's like it's kind of a risk of like you have to be good at the thing in order to like not get made fun of or whatever. It's cool, I guess, unless everything's changed and dance is cool now. But when I was in school, it was like when I had left school when I first started dancing, but it was just not cool really.
I think it might be different for boys though.
Yeah, true.
Like girls would have, you know, you wouldn't get bullied.
True, yeah. That's
it's like, if anything, it's like you do like choreos with your friend in a chair in the cafeteria, and you're like
Spice Girls.
Yeah, Did I do that to Celine Dion when I was in primary school?
What a little Quebec. Of course you did. So what songs does Celine Dion have that are like upbeat enough to do a dance to?
I don't remember. We did it in the cafeteria. Like, we made everybody stop eating and watch us.
Aww. Yeah. You have friends now, it's okay.
Yeah. I had friends back then too. There was a group of us.
Sure you did. You were by yourself, weren't you? You're like, we made everyone watch us and it's just you outside with no one around you.
We're like, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Nice. How old were you?
Real hip hop I was.
23. This was in uni?
No.
So yeah, overall good event. What did you think of the Light Fest? I think the interesting thing with Litefest is you get the New Yorkers coming over every year. So this year you had Coda Live, who won
Coda Live,
£40, who is, if you don't know, he's the guy that his video of him doing the hat tricks went viral from the Nike battle in Paris last year. Jeez. He was there. There's a reel on our Instagram if you want to check it out, which did not go viral, but it's still very good. And then
Doc Lock,
who is a very nice guy.
Such
we
a good
filmed
vibe.
a tutorial with him for Litefest Online, so check out Litefest Online. Yeah, really nice guy. And who was the other one? Oh, Larry Smooth.
Yes.
Who is the guy who you may have also seen. He does on, I think, TikTok or Insta or both. He like goes into shops and like does a backflip behind someone.
He's like,
in the like New York City bodegas and stuff. He's like doing like a backflip and then they turn around and he's like, what? And then it's like, I don't know how, I always wonder like how many of them are set up and they've like said to because there's one little kid who like turns around and he's like, hey, what, you want to go? And then he's like, he starts dancing at it like randomly, but I'm like, oh, that's probably like they've set that up. But
I saw one that was really funny. That was like, it's like an old man, and then he just like takes his shirt off. Like he's like, he like, because Larry Smooth goes like, and then
he starts screaming and doing backflips. Yeah,
and then the other guy goes like, and he takes his shirt off and is like ready to fight. That was a good one.
Yeah, I have some. I will not name names because it's not fair, but like I have some high-profile influencer friends who told me they set a lot of those. Not Larry Smooth, but when they do theirs, they set theirs up.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Of course you do. But yeah, so like, because also I think that's fair because it's like, especially the ones where you're like snatching people's phones and stuff. It's like that's not nice to do to people without.
Yeah. But I think some of them you can tell it's like, oh yeah, the person was in on it. But back to the light feeders.
Back to the light feeders. Yeah, they're all dope.
Yeah, they were all sick, and I mean, I'd been to one to a Litefest before when it was at that theater in Highgate.
Oh yeah, Jackson's Lane.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a while ago. That was like the third one.
Pre-pandemic, I think.
Yeah, that was a while ago. I've been at all of them, by the way, since the beginning.
Okay, you're the best.
Basically, a pioneer of light feet. No, I'm not. I didn't mean that. Sorry, guys.
You hear that, New York?
No. I didn't mean it. Continue. I'm sorry. Continue. What were you saying?
Yeah, so it had been a long time that I'd been been to a light feet event, but I think it was actually really nice. And yeah, I think it just brings such a different energy when everybody gets involved, and like I think with the chanting and kind of it being a lot more of you know, like we were saying about like crump and voguing, where it's a lot more okay, everybody has to be around, and like it's almost like people respond and get in on the chant. So I really do think that kind of elevates the energy in the room, whereas other styles like popping and hip hop, for instance, because it was happening this weekend, people tend to just like sit and watch and maybe throw your occasional.
Yeah, but it's also like European hip hop and pop in and those type of styles are, I think, a bit more like it's not so much about, not that it's not about the feeling, but like the way that they're practiced is more about the like intricacies and the technique and stuff. So it is more of a sit back and watch me dissect this dance type of style, whereas like light feet or like crump or these type of things, or even like hip hop in the States or in Montreal even and whatever, like it's more about like that same energy as like it's like a feeling exchange, whereas in Europe it's a bit more of a like like kind of sit back and watch this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bit
I feel like the mentalities are slightly different.
Yeah, maybe.
Sick. Thanks for that. What an overwhelming backing of my opinion.
I mean, do you want me to kind of go into my in-depth analysis?
No, I'm going to go into a few of mine, even though I'm fucking insecure about that because I got fucking roasted online. Did you see it?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Like, I don't know why
I followed that person and I was like, you tell him.
Did you? Thanks.
No.
I don't know why I replied,
Engaged.
but I've never gone viral, guys. So this is new to me, but someone was just absolutely roasting me in the comments. I had to block them in the end because I thought it'd be confined to a nice little funny exchange that I could share on my Insta stories, and then they started commenting on my videos and being like, actually one made me laugh. The first comment they put, because they were criticizing my take on the jungle thing and just saying it's not true with no back. They're just like, that's not true, and I'm like, okay. But and then they were like, I was like, are you a dancer or a choreographer? And they were like, no, but I don't need to be one to know when someone just likes the sound of their own voice, blah blah blah. Hey, you at home don't agree, and you either don't agree. But and then they commented on one of my videos of me dancing, going, I guess neither of us are dancers.
That's hilarious.
Which was actually fucking good. But then they started commenting on almost, and I was like, all right, I have to like nip this in the bud before they just start trolling me, because they're not all going to be that funny. But that was a really good one. I was funny. Like, oh, fuck, I feel like messaging them just to say that was a good one.
Yeah.
It's
like, got me there.
Yeah, that was quite
made
funny.
me laugh with that one.
I do appreciate a funny insult, but that was the problem. Like the rest was just them saying like, this isn't true. And they were like, well, you immediately replied to a negative comment, so you must be a narcissist. And I was like, wait, hold on, what? Like, first of all, this is my first time going viral. I probably won't do this again. Second of all, what about you that's commenting on strangers' shit? Like, also, I know there's people that watch this and there are people at home that fucking do this. So stop doing it if you do it, because it's
don't do it.
Top level loser behavior to like comment negative stuff on. Like, I don't even comment positive stuff. Like, this podcast that I watch that I've wanted to write on the YouTube comments like, this was a sick episode, like blah blah, and I'm just like, that's such a loser thing to even.
But you should do it.
No, it's just like, I'm
what
just
if
like,
you love receiving like these comments? True. So,
but it's like if you're doing negative comments, it's like you are a top level loser. If you're just on football players' Instagram going, you're a piece of shit or something like that, it's just like, get a life.
Yeah, if it's like negative but constructive.
No, even then you're a loser. No, if you're writing like constructive criticism to a celebrity, hey, the last album wasn't as good as your usual work, like maybe you should go back to the other, like, bro, like get off Drake's Instagram. Like, who cares?
It depends on the level and it depends on the comment. But if it's just some YouTuber commenting on another YouTuber, why not?
No, I think it's loser behavior.
Okay, well.
What else was I going to say in regards to commenting? I was about to say something.
I don't know. Maybe you were too busy listening to the sound of your own voice.
You think it was funny?
Oh, you laughed. Did my job.
That was good. So no, I don't have anything else. There was a few things that people won. Let's just talk about people who won stuff, and let's be positive, because we're positive people.
I am positive.
Unless there's anything else on Litefest.
No, just well done to Kieran.
Yeah.
And Swindon Dance. I know that, I think also there's something to be said for the fact that he like pretty much brought this style to the UK. Yeah. Or at least like, I mean, he like cultivated
he's definitely a big part of it. Like
cultivated the okay, I don't know, I've brought Live Feed to the UK. Maybe some people will come for me. Do it in the comments.
Constructively.
Yeah, do it in the comments. That way I'll be sure I don't read them. I don't know if he brought it to the UK, but he's definitely been like a big part of, I think, cultivating, young people and anybody who's interested in kind of providing resources. And
yeah, I can't imagine you can question Kieran's like work ethic in terms of spreading Light Feet in the UK and Europe. Yeah,
exactly. So I think it's sick and it's amazing to see that he's still doing it and that it's growing. And it was great to see, like a bunch of different people from all over the country come to Swindon.
Yeah, and it's nice that he like kind of brings different people as well from New York each time, so we kind of get a taste of everyone, or like lots of different people, Yeah. But there's been a lot of like I think this is one of the things in like 20-30 years, like we'll look back at and we're like, fuck, over the course of like 10 years of Litefest, Like, look who came through the UK.
Yeah.
Because like we find that with like, I don't know, there's like stories of like the EBs going to Japan and like Asia early on, and that's why like where a lot of the growth came in their styles. You know what I mean? Like, and then like same with like crumpers traveling, and like, oh, this country has a big crump scene because like Tight Eyes traveled early on, and blah blah blah. So it's like you're gonna get that with Light Feet in the UK. And in 10 years it'll be like, why is like the UK is such a hub, and it's like, look who's been there teaching, and like,
and even for, you know, like obviously the light feeders have their own like stories and their own like culture back home. But I think it was Doc Lock who posted something like it was his first trip to the UK.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I think that it's like, you know, I remember, but it's like, you know, there's times that like, oh, I've gone to a country because like I've been hired for something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, like it's pretty cool to think you do something you love because you're passionate about it. And especially when you start, it's like, you probably don't think that that's going to make you like travel around the world and
you know what, also
connect with different people and just see, I don't know, like, you know, to connect with people all over the world from a different background, different experience than you. But then just because you love the same thing, they bring you over to like, you know, teach or engage. And I think that that's like, as much as it's great for us to have them here, I think it's also like,
must be cool for them.
To kind of see also that something that they've done back home is kind of exported to the rest of the world. I don't know how they feel.
And you know what I was thinking actually on the weekend is like, I think we spoke about this in the car maybe, but it's like obviously Coda won the 1v1, but like Larry Smooth entered the All Stars and didn't win, and obviously that wasn't a light feat, it was an All Stars battle, but there's been other ones like Mr. YouTube I think has been here and he's lost, and Doc Lock lost a battle in the 1v1 and stuff like that. And it's like, what's actually cool is I've never seen any of the guys that Kieran's brought over from New York like get annoyed or be bad, like, or not gracious losers, if that makes sense, when they lose a battle. And I think like it could be very easy for them to be like, I mean, obviously there was 2 of the New Yorkers judging the battle that they were in, and there's always like New Yorkers judging, but it's like they could also be very like not gracious about losing to someone that's not from New York in a style there's like, this is our style, there's no way some Italian guy beat me, you know what I mean? Like, but I've never seen that attitude from any of them. Like they lose and they're like, yeah, fair play, like you're sick, like, and I think that is like a way to like really encourage people, because it's like, in a way that like, this is gonna sound like a dumb analysis, but in the way that like police shouldn't be above the law, it's like people that created the style shouldn't be above losing at that style. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like even we saw in Summer Dance with, what's his name?
What is his name?
Dude from Elite Force. What's his name?
Oh, Loose Joint.
Yeah. When he lost, he said he lost to dude from, I think he's from Belgium. Doha, whatever his name is. Doha. Anyway, but he admitted, and it's like, it would be very easy for him to be like,
I'm from New York and I didn't lose.
Yeah, this is my culture. This is my style. I am not losing to anyone in here. But he was like, yo, these kids are dope. Like this Belgian kid or French kid or wherever he's from, he's sick. Like, I think that sort of attitude is like what makes the culture spread and for people to feel welcome and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Also, can I have to say something and like apologize as well? Because when I was like hosting, I mean, this is something I realized when I'm hosting, it's like sometimes you get blanks, you know, of like something you want to say. And there was one point that I was like, filling in and I was like, make some noise for the judges, and I was like 40-pound J Bullet and Larry Smooth. Like in my head I could only think of J Smooth, like I only had the word smooth in my head, like I was like, not Mr., not J, not like, and then I was like it's taking too long, so I was like, make some noise for the judges, 40 pounds J Bullet and the judges. So, and then he was just like sitting there, and I didn't want to make eye contact because I was like, I didn't name you, and then like 2 seconds later I was like, Larry Smooth.
Just way too late.
Yeah, way too late. But I was like, yeah, make some noise for the judges, Larry Smooth. I was like, not Jay, not
Which
Mr.
Smooth?
Yeah.
Which Smooth is it?
Like,
Innocent Smooth? No.
Yeah, but I was like, Larry, and then the whole rest of the time I was like, Larry. So sorry if I didn't name you. I just blanked.
But yeah, sick event. Taiwo won his 3rd Kingdoms League event this year.
Take a rest.
Jesus Christ, mate. And Kid Turf won his 2nd, won Litefest for the 2nd year running.
Oh, so I really like him. He's so good.
Kenzie, his name is, from Scotland.
Yeah, he's very very smooth with it. Yeah. Very, very Larry Smooth with it.
I think I'd love to see him travel more. And get out.
Isn't he like 15 or something?
He's quite young, yeah. But like, as in,
what are you doing? Just going to school? Get a job.
No, I mean,
and travel more.
No, I mean, like, I'd love to see him like go out and do what like Kane and a lot of the other young guys are doing, and like go and travel in Europe and stuff. Obviously, he comes down to London a lot, but not even in terms of like anything. But I'd like to see how his style develops with more exposure, because I'm starting to see that with some of the guys that are traveling. Like Josh and Kane and people like that who are going out, and it's like they're getting both sides, where they're getting like all their kind of bad habits or things that are like not looking as good. Like they're seeing it, and like they may be getting told or whatever, and they're seeing where it's not working for them and blah blah blah, but then they're also getting confirmation of the stuff that works for them and the stuff that they should keep. So like I think like, say someone like Josh Gadget, he's someone that I always back, in the sense of he's not always the person that I think is going to win every battle, but he's like one of the most unique dancers. Right. Like he's got his dance is so connected to his personality. It's like crazy, and he should never change in that aspect. It's like, it's the kind of Le Twins effect, where it's like, when you get good at that thing, you're going to be the only one that can dance like that.
Yeah, but I feel like it should be, it should be like that.
Yeah, it should be, but not everyone is. And like, there's a certain element of like, people want to fit in as well, but I think, so for example, like Josh Gadget going out and getting like when he did that battle in Poland and like battled Junior UDAT, and everyone was like cheering for him and stuff, and it's like people like his style, so it's like, keep that. Like if he went to Montreal, people would love him, just like based on like energy and personality alone.
Yeah, probably.
So I think it's like stuff like that, where when you travel, you start to get this different sense of thing, and also because no one knows you. So one thing I loved about battling overseas was like, nobody has any expectation of how you're supposed to dance. And like it's so funny, like when I traveled, like my popping always did better overseas than it did in the UK, because here I was known as a hip-hop dancer, so when I did popping, people were like, oh, it just looks like you're doing your hip-hop as popping. And then I'd go to like somewhere in France, and even if I didn't get through or whatever, people were like, oh, you're sick. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, you're dope. Or like, I'd do better. Like when I went to Lille, I did better in popping. When I went to Germany, I did better in popping. But it's just like, because they just accept you as like, oh, you entered popping, so to us, you're a popper. Like,
yeah, it's like they just kind of like, it's more like just they take you for how you perform that day. Like more, I don't know if you can say that in English, like cash. Like it's just, you take it at face value. Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's like you need some of that at a certain point in your dance careers to like get out and
and it's also like proving yourself in a different way, of just like, okay, if nobody knows you or knows any association, it's kind of like, oh, okay, not it's not like in other places judgments aren't biased, but it's a lot more just based on your performance that day, not anything else.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we, even with YouTube, and we think we know about other, like I think a lot of younger kids, like they'll watch YouTube and then they'll think like, oh, I know what it's like in France, I know what it's like in Germany, blah blah blah. And it's like, one thing you still can't overlook is that every country has their own way of doing things and their own culture around the dance styles. So when you go there, it's like, okay, maybe you're gonna get like no love in the UK, go to France and they're gonna love you, and then go to Germany and no one likes you, go to Japan and everyone loves you, and it's like,
and then you go to Montreal and people love you,
or don't, it's like, it depends. Like, so I think based on, it's not just an objective like you're good at dance or you're bad at dance, your style will hit in different places. And I think when you travel, you kind of get that confirmation of like, you could feel terrible about your style and be like, oh, I don't like the way I dance, blah, blah. Go get like a room full of people screaming for you and you win a battle. And then you're like, oh, actually, maybe I don't want to change. Maybe I just want to be who I am, But yeah, Litefest, good event.
Yeah.
Had fun.
Find me there next year. Well, Karen didn't officially ask me, but
I'll be there.
I'm just putting the pressure.
So let's go through just some winners. Shout out to Coda Live for winning 1v1 light feet. KLs and K Jojo won the 2v2 light feet for, I want to say, second or third year running as well. Third year running.
Direct Rude Boy.
Eliana, they love that when you said that. That's so funny. When you were hosting, you said they won for the 3rd time. That means they're a direct Frid boy. Yeah. And like, there was so many people that were like, oh shit. It's like, especially because of your stupid accent, they probably didn't expect you to.
Because I know my crowd, if you know what I mean.
No, because I showed you that song and you...
So what?
Use it to make fun of me. Eliana won 1v1 Kids, 10 years old. She is fire. Mother Funk won the All-Star 7 to Smoke after, I think, losing her first round and then clawing her way back in. Killer Beats won the teams. I think they're from Italy. Obviously, Taiwo won Pop-In.
Not Sicily. Was
Sardinia. Taiwo won Pop-In. Kid Tough won Hip Hop. There was the Afro and More category, Afro and More battle, which is an all-female all-stars battle with Afro.
Like Afro music or...
Afro music, yeah, and Afro dances. So like Safira won the 1v1 Afro category. Abisola and Claire Howe won the 2v2 Afro and all-stars. So it was like one Afro dancer, one all-stars dancer.
Sick.
And then there was a 3v3 Afro category. Safira, Wahida and Shay. I heard it.
Was it their first edition of the event?
I think so.
Okay.
I heard plenty of good things from people who went.
It?
I think Olu and I want to say Corey D. Apologies if it's not, but I think it's them that organised it. Lauren Scott won a little battle in Scanners Inc. and Work the Floor did a little funk freestyle battle. I don't think it was the main thing of the event, but they just helped. Like
it was like an activation.
Scanners Inc. do a lot of these events where it's more about like the jam, and then they have like a cypher battle or a little side thing as the battle, which I think is nice.
Yeah.
And then in international news, Sheku won the world battle.
Jeez.
1v1 breaking category. The world battle is the battle formerly known as Euro Battle, which we used to go to from 2010 to 2016 every year. We used to go
like from 2010 to 2011.
No, for like 6 years or so we went every year. Great vibes. Momentum Crew run it. So shout out to them. It's always a good vibe, and Porto's a great city. So I definitely want to go back at some point. I just haven't prioritized it. But yeah, shout out to Sheku for that. There was also the WDSF something with the WDSF, one of the qualifiers, one of the events out there.
Was it like the European Championship or something?
I know.
I feel like it was a big one.
Very little about that. Okay. We will come back to you with the facts.
Yeah. Only
Jetsai won a 1v1 Kids break-in event in Latvia. He's dope, so I'm not surprised at all. Shall we talk about the fact that Paris won popping at random circles?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I am hearing great things about random circles.
Me too.
Are you actually, or are you just saying that?
No, I am.
What have you heard about random circles?
Why are you saying it like you don't believe
I don't know, because you said me too.
You're not saying it like you're curious.
You said me too way too quick to actually have an opinion on it. You just say, yeah, me too.
Well, hashtag. But come
on.
Yeah, no, I just heard from so many different people that it's a great event that just runs super smoothly, and that kind of, not like everything is thought about, but it's a very like well-rounded event. And that it's like, you know, there's like performances and kind of showcases and things that are like kind of more straight battles, and others that are more like conceptual battles, but that and like that the parties are very good. And so I've just heard that it's like kind of a very like wholesome,
well-rounded. I think that's a good way of saying it, well-rounded. I think these days I'm wondering if like to have a big international event, you kind of have to have more than just the battle. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to have the IBE summer dance type of format where you have like something on the Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So it's like
more towards like more more festival-y than eventy.
Because we used to fly to another country for one day, like fly in on the Friday, do the battle on the Saturday, leave on the Sunday morning or something.
What a European lifestyle.
Yeah, but it was like you literally just go for the event. Like there's probably an after party on the Saturday, but it's like you go, everything happens on that day and then you leave. But I think because there's so many events now in Europe, you got to kind of make it worth my time to fly. And also because the level has raised in every country. So for us, it's like to see this level of dancers, you had to fly to Portugal, you had to fly to France, like because they don't have that like that sort of level in the UK besides like one or two people, if that makes sense. But now it's like, all right, well, I actually might fly to the world battle. Let's say like Sheku won the world battle, right? But it's like if I had flown to Portugal, then I might have found, I don't know who was in it, but there might have been like a higher level break-in battle in the UK, if you know what I mean. Or like a higher, like if random circles pop in, like there's pop-in battles in the UK that were like as high of a level as that. So it's like, it's not just the battle that is, or it's like if you go in for your chance to battle, there's loads in the UK. So it's like, you have got to really convince me to like pay money to leave the country now. So it's like, all right, if I'm going to fly, I want like 2-3 days of like festival vibes. I want loads of stuff to do. I want to meet people. I want parties. I want panel talks. I want workshops. You know what I mean? You can't just say,
damn, you're demanding.
No, but I think for anyone, especially if you're going to spend that much money to like.
Yeah. And also I think at the end of the day, it's like when you go to an event or a battle, okay, you can cipher on the side, but it's like if you do a prelims and then you dance 45 seconds, it's kind of like, it's just nice to get to like experience it in like different ways throughout different days, you know.
Yeah, like that's,
and even if you're watching as an audience too, you know, I think it's nice to have like some theater nights that you kind of, if you're into that, you can go watch that, and the battle and the parties. Like I do think that it kind of makes for a like fuller experience.
So do you want to hear one of my thoughtful breakdowns that I get roasted for on the internet?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll roast you off camera.
Okay, thank you. So I showed you the reel of Wesley.
Yes.
So I think he's sick. I hadn't seen him before.
Really?
Not like watched, like I knew of him, but I hadn't watched his dance.
Living under a rock?
Potentially. But yeah, so the thing that I think is especially dope with Wesley in this round, you've seen that, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the thing I think that's dope with Wesley in this round is that, like, it sounds kind of cliche, but like he really like embodies the music. And what I mean by that, because it kind of sounds like it doesn't mean anything. It's just people just say that. But it's like if you watch this round, he's mirroring the way the sounds sound with visually, if that makes sense. So like there's for example, like he's there's bits where there's like hi-hats that come in, and and like flutes and like higher pitched sounds, which in a visual sense we would layer them like nearer the top, or we would say that they're nearer the top of the sound spectrum, right? So he's doing stuff that's like very almost light in feeling and like up towards the top of his body, right? So he's doing like waves and like stuff that's at the top. And then when the bass comes into the track, he drops to do his floor work and stuff. And it's like, this could be one of those things like when you're in school and the teacher says, oh, the author wanted to portray anger, so he painted the curtains red. Like it could be that it's like, he didn't mean to do that consciously in the moment. But regardless, the effect is still there, if that makes sense. So it's like, if you're watching this round and you go through and you see the bits where he's playing with the flutes, he's playing with the hi-hats, and they're all up floaty things, and then even there's a bit where he's playing with the flute and stuff, and then the hi-hats start coming in like regularly. And the way I would have described that moment in the track is that it starts to create some movement and momentum with the track, and he goes from static to like moving across the floor with the move that he's doing. And it's like, again, it's like, you can say that I'm reading into it or not reading into it, but I think the way that he mirrors the track and plays with the energy, so that it's like that that movement builds into the next phase, and like all his phrasing is perfectly on point, and he builds up the round. But then he's building up to like high energy when the bass comes in, and then there's like a hi-hat that is almost, I would again describe it as like almost interrupting the flow of the round. It like comes in and it like breaks up the round, and he pauses enough to hit that and then carries on. So it's like you're almost mirroring the flow of the music with the way that you're delivering your rounds, if that makes sense. And I think again, it's like, it may or may not be conscious for him, but if this is something that people can do consciously, this is where you start to get like a real connection between the crowd, the dancer, and the music, if that makes sense. Because when you're so in the music and you're so in tune with what the music is doing, whether that's there's a high spike in energy, so you go high, or whether there's any sort of different movement in the track that you mirror, however you interpret that. But if you're thinking of like, how am I embodying the sounds that I'm hearing, you can really connect with it for people that are hearing the music. And if the music connects with you auditory, or what's that word, audibly, if the music connects with you, if the music connects with you in your ears, then when the person dancing also does that, it's almost you're hijacking that feeling that music gives you already. Right. So you're like almost in love with this dancer, but you were in love with the song first. It's like if there's a song that I love and a dancer dances to it really well, I automatically love that round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very hard for me to not love that round because you're hijacking the love train that the music is giving me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I'm not going to lie. I didn't even... because it was his round from Random Circle, but I didn't like, for me, I just watched it and I just feel like, oh, he's really like building in the same way that like he's perfectly building just like the music, you know, and sometimes that can work against dancers. Sure. Like sometimes it can be too predictable, but it really worked.
Sorry, can I just say, I think that is predictable when the music is predictable. So when it's like a homemade battle beat and you build with it, it's not complex enough for your building to exactly. But when it's this house music, which is like real music with real instruments and real musicians playing it, and you can sit on that. Yeah, well, it's true. And you sit on that and you can build with it. Like,
but I still didn't clock, like now that you say it, about like the quality, how the quality and the intention of the movement reflected like the sound quality and even the, you know, the like, I don't know, it's not pitch level, but like.
Yeah, like the pitch, the tone, the like, the feeling of it.
I did not notice that at all. So I'm like, I'm going to rewatch it and be impressed.
Should we watch it now for people that are watching? The pod, we can put it on screen.
Well, aren't you just gonna overlay it?
Yeah, but I mean, we can watch it and they can watch it with us. What do you think, guys? You want to watch it with us, seeing as I've just spoken about it for people that are watching the pod? All right, cool, let's do it. This is the round we're talking about, guys.
He looks like a sweet person.
Yeah, Joel says he's a very nice guy. What do you think?
Such a nice round.
Yeah, he's
Did
very,
he win?
very good. Oh, he follows me. Oh, shout out to Wesley. I'll follow you back.
Shout out.
Follow you back right now. Wesley, when you got this follow, I was literally recording this podcast right now.
Follow for follow, likes for likes.
Yeah, so anyway, he's dope. And
did he win?
Yep.
Okay.
He won. And Paris won the popping in random circles.
I heard she fucking smoked people. She's on one right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also not surprised, but yeah. Why is she on one? What did she do? She's won a
Summer
few.
Dance.
Yeah. She did
apparently
Summer Dance.
she was like the MVP of Summer Dance.
Yeah, didn't Nelson comment that? Someone told me that Nelson commented saying that Paris is MVP.
Yeah. No, she's on fire right now and she's like, I've just seen on her social media, she's been doing like working loads in the UK with like theater companies, just going to battles, taking hits.
Taking hit. Came to whoop ass and what's that saying? Anyway.
Eat some whoop ass soup.
What?
I don't know. A can of whoop ass.
Open it. Open a can of whoop ass.
Yeah,
she came to eat some whoop ass soup.
Yeah, because
what an idiot!
Because in the can of whoop ass is
whoop ass soup. Guys, help! That's stupid.
But yeah, apparently she killed it. So I mean, I'm not surprised. I just think she's. Well, I mean, yeah, you explained it.
In the other one.
Yeah, but I just think she's like such a...
No one roasted me about that reel, so everyone must agree.
So get on it, people.
shall we talk about
JOAT.
the one and only
JOAT. Jack of all trades.
Yeah. So, shout out my Montreal people. I don't know if any of you lot listen to this, but
What's up, les gens de Montréal? Montréal est dans la place.
Oui. Moi aussi. So do you want to tell the kind people at home what JOAT is before we get into anything about it?
Yeah, so Jack of all trades is an event that I think we must be close to 10 years that Monster's been running it. Because he did the first edition when I was still in Canada, which is almost like 9-10 years ago now. But basically, you know, I think that part of the reason why he started Jack of all trades is that he was like, and maybe I'm interpreting this wrong, but not he was frustrated with popping competitions, but he felt like, you know, popping is almost like an umbrella dance that kind of encompasses like animation and waving and so many, you know, different elements and different styles, and that often in popping competitions, depending on where you are, they really just want to see one aspect of the dance. And I think he's always been like very much about exploring and playing with different aspects of the dance.
2016.
2016.
Yeah,
right.
but continue.
So then came the concept of Jack of all trades, of kind of testing yourself against different components of the dance and kind of making it like each round has a different rule or has a different theme that you have to perform under. And it's so crazy because, like I said, I kind of helped him, you know, with the first 2 editions to not produce, like, yeah, I supported him with some of the producing and like organizing elements. And, you know, he was saying back then that his dream was to make it a festival and that he wanted it in this place in Montreal that's called Place des Arts, which means place of the arts. And it's like downtown Montreal. And it's kind of like, imagine if there was a big area around Sadler's Wells that also has an outdoor space and that kind of hosts all the big festivals. Like in Montreal, it's like Montreal is a big festival city. So there's like a stand-up comedy festival, a jazz festival, whatever. And all the festivals happen there. And he was kind of, you know, always, oh, my dream is to have it there one day, da, da, da. And then, you know, last year they had it at Place des Arts, but this year it was kind of like a full-blown week-long festival in the big like Place des Arts square. And yeah, I mean, I've just been seeing it on social media, but it's just so amazing to see like your peers or people that you know work so hard and deserve the success. And it's like it hasn't been an easy road. I think a lot of event organizers like that have self-funded events know the struggle of, you know, trying to get support and raise money and all of that. So yeah, it's just grown so much and it's been amazing. And, you know, the thing that's great about the festival as well, like besides the individual dance competitions, is that he's really kind of made space for like all the different, like a lot of different dance disciplines to have a space there. Like there was a crump event. There was like initiation, kind of like intro classes, like accessible to the public. There was hustle. There was like DJ sets. There was a beat making competition. There was parties. So it's like involving the whole community. You know, what started out as like wanting to celebrate, you know, popping and the diversity within popping also expanded to like street dance in general. And now it's like the same concept that there was for popping of breaking down different rules for each round. They've also applied that for hip hop and for breaking. So now there's 3 battles that are under the format of Jack of all trades, which I think is really sick. And yeah.
It looks fucking sick. I actually think I need to go next year.
Yeah, and you know,
because when we were in Montreal for Christmas, we've done a couple of pods with some of the Montreal peeps. So shout out to ATN and J Star. We are gonna talk about ATN in a second, but Yeah, when we were there, we were talking to Monster. We actually did a pod with Monster that me and ATN may have ruined, so it never came out. But that is one of the dangers of doing podcasts with ATN. But yeah, we were talking about potentially going this year, and I was thinking about it. But I think now, having seen this year's one, I think next year I have to go.
Yeah, and also it's like this is a thing with like the Montreal crowd, and especially like Jack of all trades, I think has grown to be like kind of a community favorite. But it's like people in Montreal are so hype, like people get involved and just like scream and like they just get really genuinely like so excited about what they see. So I think the energy in the room like really raises, and then it really affects the dancers. And like speaking of ATN,
let's talk about him. So ATN, for people that don't know, is Geni's brother.
Yeah.
Younger brother.
Yes.
He's also the host, one of the hosts of Jack of All Trades.
Yeah, so he
hosted with Preach.
No, Preach hosts the hip hop.
That's
ATN hosts the popping, and Vicious hosts the breaking.
Vicious being the partner of AT, who we had on the podcast as well. So go and check that.
Yes, and
episode out.
Vicious and AT were the ones who like made up the rules for breaking.
And I think Cozy and
Spicy
made hip hop.
Yeah.
And then obviously Monster and whoever did.
I think Monster. He might have done it by himself because it was like from the get go.
One thing we have to talk about with the rules, because I saw Spicy post that it was like her and Pax maybe that came up with the tie break rule. I don't know who. Like,
the blitz. Yeah,
because Spicy said on her Insta that like, this concept was like something that we used to do in training, me and Pac. So I don't know if that means they made it up or whatever. Maybe they were part of the group that made it up. Anyway, for people that don't know, the concept in JOAT, which is fire, I wish people would be able to steal it without it being stealing, but don't steal it because it's their thing. But is that if there's a tie break, every round has to be 2 8s back to back. So it's like 2 8s, 2 8s, 2 8s, 2 8s, 2 8s, 2 8s. And it just creates like, I mean, if we want to be boring and be like, how do you judge it correctly? In terms of the vibe of the performance, it makes it sick. So I love that type of thing. It's like, all right, we have to just go back to back, like keep going. And I do think it's something that we do a lot in dance, or we used to anyway, in training and stuff. And I think it's like,
and it's like the whole point is that you have to up the other.
Yeah, you know? Call outs should be like that. If you're going to call each other out, it should be like, it shouldn't just be like, all right, let's do like a minute and a half round.
Right.
And then it should be like, just keep going 2 8s at a time. And when you can't create that quickly, you're out. Like if you choke in that way, you lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a sick concept. And yeah, you were going to say about ATN.
Yeah. So he
you may have seen videos of him.
Yeah. He always goes above and beyond for Jack of all trades.
That's one way of saying it. For Jack of all trades. Not for anything else.
No, but he goes above and beyond for Jack of all trades specifically. Even more. It's just in life in general. But like, so for Jack of all trades, he bought a bunch of noisemakers for the crowd, you know, so just so that he would make sure that they would really be involved. So he bought like clappers and whatever things make noise. He asked one of his friends who's a Japanese translator to come and translate the whole event for Kay, who's a Japanese popping judge, to make sure he understood everything, which I think is just like so random but really like cute.
Yeah, ATN is weird in the most cute ways.
Like most thoughtful way.
Yeah.
And then he dressed as a skeleton because
say like that, like we saw the pictures of him dressed as a skeleton, and then you hit him up and said, why the skeleton, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I saw all the things, but I knew that he wasn't gonna host like a normal person. I knew that he wasn't gonna come in human clothes. And
because previous years he's painted his entire body the same color as his suit and gone topless under the suit, stuff like that.
Yeah. So then when I saw because he didn't tell me, because often we spoke about like him getting ready for JOAT and like preparing jokes and stuff like that, but he didn't tell me about the skeleton suit. And I was like, so was there a specific reason for why you were dressed like a skeleton? And he was like, yeah, it's in honor of all the times I didn't pass prelims or lost a battle and felt dead inside. So I thought that was quite funny.
That is very funny.
Like he gets the creativity points.
Yeah. We love ATN.
Yeah, but Yeah, and apparently, so apparently it was like super hype and amazing additions. Apparently Breaks was the MVP of the popping.
I did hear this.
And that
he got second place.
Yeah.
To
Waldo.
I was going to say Walido or something.
Yeah, Waldo. Who apparently was just on...
Is he in Montreal?
Yeah.
Sick.
And apparently he was just like on fire. You know, sometimes when it's just your day.
Yeah.
Apparently it was...
I think Sean was there as well. And I think Waldo beat him
first
in one
round.
of the previous rounds. Oh, okay, first round. Yeah. And then, so Breaks and Sean both like passed through. They said there was quite a lot of people that entered pop in as well. So shout out to them.
Yeah. So Sean lost to Waldo first round. And then Breaks lost to him in the finals. But yeah, apparently he was just...
Breaks was the MVP?
Yeah, and he said that he actually... He said that he didn't... My brother.
Oh.
Said that he didn't have easy battles. You know, he had like Dokyun, who was a battle guest first round.
Jesus Christ, let's go Breaks.
And then he had Sonya.
Whoa.
I think he had Sonya later on.
Yeah.
But that she had been like super strong throughout the whole competition. And that...
Damn, Breaks fought for that second place, bro.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But he just said like that... So, I don't know which category it was, but that it was like a category where Sonya was maybe not as necessarily strong or comfortable, and that Breaks just really went and like played and explored. And I think this is the whole concept of JOAT as well. You know, it's not necessarily that you have to be amazing and flawless at each thing, but more that you have to really step out of your comfort zone, and like it's supposed to bring something else out of you that is really outside of what people expect, you know, and to like the whole point is really to surpass yourself. So he said that Breaks was just really, you know, taking a lot of risks and just really going for it in every battle.
Yeah, which I think is easier to do when you have almost those restrictions or not restrictions, but where it's like, okay, this is a footwork round, to like take some risks and do something different, because otherwise you're kind of trying to tick all the boxes all at once, and that's where you get this kind of similar way of approaching the dance. But yeah, that's sick. That's really cool. And I saw a little clip of the end of, it's like the end of the judge demos, and Cozy and Feist are hugging. I think J Style put it up, and I was like, I need that video now.
Right.
Like two of my favorite dancers, like Cozy and Feist. So it's like, I want to see that fucking judge demo.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to ATN. We love you, bro. And shout out to Montreal. Yeah. Also, on the note of UK people at JOAT, Evian went over there, swept up. But yeah, no, he also, the finals are out, so I watched the finals.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. Just before the pod, it was only hip hop and breaking. But yeah, Evian went over there. It seems to be that Evian is back in the game. He's been around. He's also a guest at Battle Bad now.
Okay.
So he's been doing a few battles. So it looks like, you know, I don't know if he stopped dancing, but he stopped being around the battle scene for a while. I don't know exactly for how long, but yeah, it's looking like he's back in the game. Yeah, he went over there and won hip hop. It looked like the guy who was in the finals was sick as well.
But I would think that, like, I mean, like Montreal has really good vibes and like really good dancers. But definitely, like when I saw that Evian was there, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna smoke people.
Sorry, Montreal.
With all due respect,
it's better that you're saying it.
No, but it's like I'm sure,
but I mean, Evian is good even in fucking the highest level of.
I'm sure that there's some people, like there's people. I haven't been in Montreal, and like even when I'm there, I don't really go to dance events. So, but I know that, like, you know, probably there's some people that could take Evian, but also, you know,
there's a limited amount of those people in the world, though. So, do you want to hear my second breakdown of the day?
Yes.
You haven't seen the finals, have you?
No.
Okay. So, so I was watching Evian and I was thinking about what is so different, or like what people love about him so much, or like what's so different and like dope about him. Here's what I concluded. So, I think Evian is composed to the extent of, no, I'm saying this wrong. How do I say that? Like he's composed to the to the extent of being nonchalant. Like he's so composed that he is verging on looking like he doesn't
Bored.
care. Yeah.
He's like, I'm smoking you and it's not even fun.
Exactly. So it's like, I think the thing with that is, it's like, I always talk about this in the workshops, but it's like that stillness and slowness are way harder to do than big fast movement especially on big stages, because the more you go slow, small static movements, or the more you stop on stage, or the more you go slow, you start to feel this pressure of like, everyone's waiting for me, and if you are not a seasoned performer, that pressure can get to you and you just go do more. So in a way you feel like you're feeding the crowd what they want, but it's not what they want. They want you to do something dope, but you feel that pressure to just keep moving, and often we hide behind fast big movements, right? So I think what Evian does is his composure is so good that he can just stand still on stage and just move his heel and it's like, and everyone will go mad, and it's like he can then move his heel and just stand there for 2 seconds and wait for the next thing to do, or to do a really small movement or a really small wave or whatever, and he and people will stand and watch because like he's bringing them into the performance, right? And I think what makes Evian so extra special is that I think dancers who have that skill set, who can do small static movements and have that composure and the confidence to stay still, develop that skill set because that's where their strength lies. Their strength lies in small, intricate movement, and their strength lies in controlled, still type of movement, right? Evian also has the other end of the spectrum, which is big, athletic, flexible movement that flies all over the stage. He also has an element of like rawness to his big movements when he wants to, and it's just a bit like, it's just very like free, and he can create how he wants. But then at the same time is able to completely do the other end of the spectrum, which is to just stand still and just do like the smallest shoulder intricacies on the music. And so when people see him do that, I don't think they expect the other end of the spectrum, or when they see that, they don't expect the small end of the spectrum. And I think he flicks between the two just almost like whenever he feels like, without losing his composure. Because the other thing is, when you do these big raw, like the way people dance when they dance big, and I don't want to say messy, but like big and raw, is that it ups your adrenaline. So you're doing all this floor work and you're stopping yourself and you're catching yourself, your adrenaline goes up. So the tendency is to feed into that adrenaline and do more, big, because now your blood is pumping. But Evian can go from doing this big, athletic, flexible move and just stop with no, like, he's not even out of breath. He's just standing there, and then he'll just do a little like with his heel, and you're like, holy shit, like you're going from complete top level athleticism to complete static performance where you're drawing the audience in. And I think that those two ends of the spectrum in one person is what like makes him so like exciting to watch for people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'd never thought about that either. What do I even think about? But yeah, I feel, and when you were saying that, it's like he does have a nonchalant vibes. It's like, I feel like Alex the Cage also has that, like just very. But
Alex is, I feel like there's a less of a spectrum with Alex. Like from his small energy, stuff to his, even his big stuff feels chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he always has a like.
It's a consistent vibe throughout his whole dance, which is a good thing for him.
Yeah, the quality of the movement changes. Yeah. Or like the size of the movement and whatever varies.
But I could show you like one clip of Evian and then another clip of Evian. You could be like, this is like, if it's a one section of his dance and one section of his dance.
Like, is that the same person?
Yeah, you'd be like, this is two separate dances. One flying all over the stage like a maniac with his leg behind his head. And then one where he's standing just still, like, just like touching his chest, and it's like, and you're like, the fuck, who is this?
But yeah, and I definitely think so many people from the UK would do well at Jack of all trades. I mean, we kind of said it yesterday when we were just talking, but I do feel like there's a few people that I can think of here that would, just kind of not be challenged, but rise to the challenge. And whose dance like lends itself well to a lot of the different categories. We actually had a Jack of all trades here, like a qualifier.
Yeah, we did
pre-pandemic
quite a while ago. It was good. That was fun.
Yeah, but it just didn't, like, how can I say it? Like, this is the thing also, it's like the essence of Jack of all trades is also like the event, not just the concept.
Well, that's the hardest thing about franchising an event or taking it around for qualifiers, because it's like you have like to capture the exact same vibe is really hard.
Yeah. And also it's a cultural thing as well, you know, of like,
and that's part of the magic of it. It's like maybe it is just that, like, you know, not to say that they shouldn't do qualifiers, because they definitely should, but maybe the magic is experiencing it in Montreal, and like that's also kind of, you know, within this world scene that everything is so accessible everywhere. It's like maybe there's some magic in like you only get that vibe in Montreal if you make that trip.
You know, that's right.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, I definitely had like major FOMO of last week.
But I'm gonna try and
go next year.
Yeah. Shout out to the Montreal peeps. I fucking love you guys.
You guys are okay. Just joking.
Can you say go back?
Careful, maybe they will. And then you'll be left here all alone.
I'll come with you. We'll start a capsule Montreal. Les capsules.
La capsule.
La capsule.
La capsule, man.
La capsule, man. Très côté. Yeah. And I saw Preach that was hosting. Shout out Abba and Preach. I watch all your shit.
Yeah.
If you watch this, come on the pod.
You know, Abba and Preach actually sponsor the money prize.
That's how you give back to some shit. Like I saw that and I was very... So Abba and Preach are like YouTubers. If you don't know, check out their stuff. It's actually very interesting. And they... so they do really well on YouTube, have some very interesting takes, say some hilarious videos, and they're quite not celebrities but like borderline celebrities. They're like big YouTubers. So they sponsored the prize categories,
which is like I think it's $2,000 for the winner and $1,000 for the second place.
But that's the shit where it's like you get big and then you actually give back to the fucking community, and not like, I mean, not that they're not getting anything out of it, but it's like there's more for the dancers than anything, you know?
Yeah, and also it's like, you know, Preach has been part of a dance community for a really long time, and also it's like Montreal is really small, you know?
Yeah.
And everybody is friends, like not.
I mean, the
not
London community,
friends,
everybody's connected, and it's like that's a huge city. So Montreal, I can imagine what it's like.
Is smaller, and you know, it's like I think people really do support each other in a lot of different ways. So it is super, you know, and it's like they don't have to do that.
No,
but
not at all.
It's super nice that they do.
But yeah, guys, check out Jack of All Trades on the YouTube. Also, one thing that's important to me is that the footage is always fucking sick. Like if you go through their other battles and stuff, I've got a big, I mean, I don't like them both, so I've got a pretty big TV, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty decent sized. All I'm saying is I can barely see my wall opposite me. I mean, if I wanted to paint the wall, I couldn't because of the size of the TV. Please don't rob me. But the point I was trying to make is that like we watch the battles on the TV and it's like the quality is fucking beautiful. The angles are perfect. Like you're not at the event, of course, but you do get a really good sense of the event. And whoever does their videography and stuff, shout out to them, because that's important for people who are watching around the world.
Jeez.
So go and watch the battles. The finals were up at the time of recording. By the time this is out, whenever that is, they'll probably all be out. Yeah, sounds like a fucking good event. Hopefully we can do something out there.
We can send a UK delegation next year. At
least do some pods or something out there if we go. We have to get ATN on the pod again because
dressed as a skeleton.
Also, last thing is Flavorama this weekend. I know there's some UK people out there. Flavorama. That's also a good name. Sure, there's a breaking battle called The Floor is Flavor, but like the way they spell it is FLAVA. You know, like the floor is lava.
Yeah.
The floor is flavor.
Flava.
I think that's such a sick name. Anyway, Flavorama.
Is the concept that like you can't touch the floor?
I think it's just a breaking battle.
Okay.
Can't touch the floor in a breaking battle.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting concept.
Interesting. That would be actually really. They just put random furniture and you have to. No, that's stupid.
That would be more like a parkour competition.
Flavorama this weekend. And I know there's some UK people out there, so I don't know who's the pair. I'm interested to see who paired up, and B, who gets through and does well. So yes, Flavorama Hip Hop in House in Austria. Always a good event from what I hear. And good luck to everyone competing, and hope it goes well and have a great time. And that's it.
Any other announcements of things coming in the UK in the next few weeks?
Yeah, probably.
All right. Well, see you next.
No, what's happening? What's coming up? There are things. Do I know what they are? No. Kids breaking championships in Gloucester, 28th of October. They're coming up. The capsule will be there. There's some other things, but when Sophia's not here, I don't have updated news. So, guys, you'll have to check the Instagram because we share stuffs.
Okay.
But
follow, like, and subscribe.
That's all for today. Thank you for being here, Geneviève Lou. Shout out to Montreal. Shout out to
Montréal est dans la place, bro.
Give us some more Quebec sayings.
Yo, qu'est-ce que tu veux, man?
Okay, what else?
Well, what else?
I'm so used to living with you that I don't know the things that are actual French and that are Montreal sayings now.
Ouais, ben, écoute-moi ben.
Give an outro to the Montreal people who are listening in French.
Yo, gros shout out aux gens de Montréal, Jack of all trades, La Familia.
That's Spanish.
Whatever. Ouais, tout le monde qui a donné des gros vibes en fin de semaine. J'aurais aimé ça être là. Je m'ennuie de vous. Je vous aime. Bonne fin de semaine.
Je vous aime aussi.
Oh, cute.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been The Capsule. We will catch you next week.
And do send emails if you want me back.
Do not send emails.
Comment
on the YouTube. Comment on the YouTube or on the Instagram. But we love you, everyone. Thanks for listening. Peace out.